Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and it is Sunday afternoon, favourite afternoon of the week, because I get to Scraplift Crafternoon with the crew. There are 11 of us, and this week we are doing a layout from Scrapbooking Quebec, who is Dorothy Gwynnon, and I'll have all her details linked down below so that you'll be able to go and check out her fine work. So this is a double layout, which is unusual for me, and I actually was thinking about doing the same sort of theme and concept that Dorothy had with the garden and so forth, but then I came across the photos that I'm using, and I thought, no, I'm going to go and make it a totally different theme, but with the same concept. So I am pulling together a whole range of different papers here in the black and whites, and you saw that I have punched around the edge there just to get my measurements happening, and I'm using a star punch border, and that's because I am doing a Star Wars themed layout. So she has got a triple frame on hers, and I have got a triple frame on mine. I have the black, silver and white one on the back that you can see there with the star, and that will also be my piece through the middle. And then I have the green, which is symbolic of the lightsaber colour that my son has in the photos. And then I have this black and white text, which reminds me of like the Death Star concept behind it. So I'm pulling this together into the double, and I do apologise because of my workspace that I work on one at a time. So you will see me left and right working. As you can see here, I have the next piece, and I already know that I have to take off another inch at the bottom there so that it fits onto the frame perfectly. Now, I do like this punch. It gives a jagged edge with the stars in between, and I think that's perfect for the theme of the layout. I do keep some of the small stars because I will be using those later on the page as well. So I do make a massive amount of mistakes on this layout, so I've kept them all in so you get to see those mistakes because I was distracted during the creation of the base here, and my children coming having conversations with me, I wasn't paying attention. So it's not until I'm starting to construct it in full that I realise the mistake that I make, and you will see that as we go through. Now, this is a little bit of a longer video, and I do apologise. You can also hear the cockatoos outside at the moment. It's a Sunday afternoon with the sun starting to go down. The cockatoos are loving this time of the day, and they're coming in for feeds. So they like to screech, and you can hear, must be a big male out there calling the rest of the flock in. Do you hear them all? Yep, they've just flown over, went to get a feed. And then, of course, Jack is starting at the back because he's responding to them. So I do apologise for the cockatoo feed. It's not really conducive to scrapping, but it is where I am. I live in the bush, so that's what happens. So I've just trimmed down that star paper, as you see. It is from the back, that is the framing, and I am using that as the middle section here, and this is where I make my first mistake. So Dorothy has her coloured layers in underneath this strip, and I actually put it down first, and it should actually go down last. So I have to lift it up throughout, and you'll see that happening in a moment. But I do like the colour contrast here. I do like how this is all coming together. The colours are perfect, as I said. It is a Star Wars themed layout, and I am making a contribution to the galaxy theme by having this black and white as a main stasis throughout the process. So I'm pulling out this circle that I cut out on my Cricut, and I chose one with stars on it for the galaxy, obviously, and it's perfect for this layout. I do like a messy circle, and I have just started pulling out my Maker 3 and using it a bit more, so I'm glad, and this layout forced me to do that, which is very helpful, because if I'm not forced into using it, it will sit there and I'll go for an alternative, but I'm actually enjoying being able to be creative with my Cricut again. So I'm just laying that into place, and this is too in the wrong spot, and it's not until I start laying in the colours that I realise that, and you'll see that happen, but that's okay. That's what scrapbooking is all about. It's not about always getting it correct. It's about being real and showing you that it does happen. There are mistakes. I'm going to use the orange, and I realise I don't need a full strip of it. The only colour that I need the full strip of is the one that is going on the end, and the rest I can work through. So I'm cutting them into strips of 3-inch, and then I'm tearing. And the same with the orange here, and I'm tearing, and I'm going to cut off the other tear, and that gives me my 2 lots of strips. And the purple here is another one, and that's going across the centre, so I'll keep that as a full strip as well. This is the edge one here to the right, and this is where I realise that I've actually made a big boo-boo, because I lay it in and then I think, well, I don't see that paper underneath, and then I have a look and you can see this is a Vicky Booten paper, and then I realise, oh no, it's actually got to go in underneath that star paper. So I've had to pull that all up again. Luckily with the Nuvo glue, until you have actually pressed it down really tight and let it dry, you can still manipulate it through your layout. So I'm now going to lift it all off carefully, as you can see here, just lifting it, and then I'm taking out that centre, because I realise I can't do this without taking the whole centre off. And so I basically deconstruct what I've already constructed, which is not very helpful because it doubles the time, but shows you that it's a mistake. Oh well, making mistakes is part of it, isn't it? If you don't learn from your mistakes, that's why I say to children, it's okay to make a mistake as long as you learn from your mistake. So I'm putting down my layout now. I'm layering it up according to Dorothy's layout, and I'm actually realising, yep, it looks better this way. So I'm trimming down that second piece of purple, which will go over to the right-hand side. I'm now going to lay down the centre like it's supposed to be done, and then I will be able to put down my black cut file. So there, that goes in. Now that looks like it's supposed to look like, and then I put into play the circle, and once again I will glue it into place. Now, I really do love the colours on this, but looking at it from afar now, it looks a bit Halloweenish in colouring, but it's not. It suits. When you see the photos, you will realise why I've chosen the colours I've chosen. That's always important in my layouts, is that I choose the colours to match my photos. Next part, because I already got the heads up that I did it wrong, I'm removing that straight away, so I can now just layer down this part of the layout, so that it's just a lot faster on the second side. So first of all, I'm starting off with that purple, which I'm marrying it up to there, as you can see. Then I will go in with the orange and then the green. Now the purple, the orange and the green are Vicky Booten papers. The text one is from Scrapbooking Coach, and the star one is from an Australian one, Sarah Ellison, I think her name is, and that's an old paper as well. So I like how this is all coming together. I love this colour combination, that there's a combination of patterns and just plain solids, which breaks up the busyness, and I really do love how this has all come together. So I'm just tucking in the last of the colours here, as you can see, and then I can put that centrepiece back in, running across the centre with the stars. And on mine, because I am adding more photos to my layout, a lot of that star paper does disappear, but that's okay. That's the whole idea about scraplifting. You take the elements that work for you and you make them work for your photos. So as I said, you can see the purple there in that photo. I have the purple on the right, and there's my son with his helmets from Star Wars. So the black and the white is picked up, the purple from the lightsaber glow, just all reflects nicely here on this layout, and I do love how this is coming together. I must say this is one of my favourite layouts when it's completed. I really do like this layout. I don't know whether it's because it's different to what I normally do. I don't know whether it's because it's the boys. I'm not sure. But I really, really like how this turns out in the end, which is really always positive when you create a layout. And it's also showing that here is where I differentiate or go off from Dorothy's, in that I have a double photo there. And then I have this here as a double photo, and you can see the different lightsabers here. Oh, my helmet's here, and look what I've done with that. It's upside down. And I will correct that as you watch. I'm just going to lift here because I have to tuck the photo in underneath, which is part of the design that Dorothy has on hers. Just tucking it in underneath, and that's my youngest son. He is a Star Wars fanatic. He loves everything Star Wars. He collects all those helmets. He collects all the lightsabers, and that's where I realised that I had actually put that in upside down. So I have chosen the green because of the green glow of that lightsaber, and I chose the purple because of the purple lightsaber, and I chose the orange because the orange is a complementary colour too, and also there's orange in one of the helmets. I didn't go the bright orange, I went with the subtle hue orange, and that's just to throw that colour, and it also picks up the shelving, as you can see there with those helmets. So then on my cricket, I have cut out some Death Stars for my embellishments that Dorothy had the tomato plants. I've put in that purple tag in behind that top photo, just the same as Dorothy had a tag in hers. And I have another Death Star here at the same cluster point, but I'm also adding in Yoda, and that's another feature for that main cluster there in the bottom. It says feelings you must trust. And then when you see the title, you'll know why I put that there. So I'm adding in the last Death Star here, and you'll watch me fiddle around with this until I get the placing, and in the end I don't actually place it until I've put the title into place, which I thought I would be able to do, but then I realised no, once I start doing the title I need to actually manipulate it. So I have also cut out on my cricket the title, and I have matted this one, and it's going to say, when you see it all done, this whole thing is going to say lightsaber love story, because it's so true. Every lightsaber that comes out, he's out there buying. So he has a love story with Star Wars. He just he does. He's a fanatic. He loves it. All my children have, all my boys. That comes from my dad, I believe. My dad was very much a Star Wars fanatic, and he has passed that on to my boys, and they just love anything that has to do with Star Wars. So this is how I put that Death Star in up there, and now you can see this is coming together just magic. I love it. Look at it, that purple reflects in the helmet, it reflects in that lightsaber glow. I just love it. I'm sorry, I just am really, really pleased with how this turned out. I'm now adding in some stars on some foam tape, and I'm picking out the stars in the circle cut file, and then I'm adding some littler stars around the layout into those clusters to build the cluster point so that it's a focus. I do love the simplicity in those clusters. It's very good for a boys layout. It's very appropriate for the topic, and it just all comes together beautifully with that Star Wars theme. So I have a visual triangle set up, which unfortunately you don't see until the end, and I'm really sorry about that. That's because of my workspace. I am now putting in a lightsaber over here to the left, and I have another lightsaber which I'm going to put over to the right, and that will draw your eye around it. But you can see the three visual points: top, right, top, left, and the bottom center, and that sends up that visual triangle. And when the whole layout comes together, you can see it in one place. Look at all the detail there, that star framing, the green peeking out. It's just the right mix of colors, it's just the right mix of patterns, and it marries beautifully. And above all, the photos really do pop. and they really do stand out as the feature of the layout. So you too can create from a sketch or from a layout. You just interpret the elements that you find that speak to you, and it's really important. They really need to speak to you, because you can look at lots and lots of elements on pages and go, I have no idea what to do. There's the double. You can now see all of the pieces. There is a full playlist linked below of all the people who are playing along today. If there's everyone, there's 11, but go check everybody out. It's great to see how everybody interprets what one person finds in a layout as opposed to what another does. I'm looking forward to seeing them too. So happy scrapping until next time. Here's my next video for you. Don't forget the thumbs up, and I'll see you over there real soon.